welcome you all to this day and to the sessions that we are going to have going forward, discussing women in intra-regional trade in East Africa. And at the end of this day, I want you all to ask yourselves, why are we here today? Why has Nancy and the regional director and the chairperson, Dorothy, why did they come and put this together for all of us to be able to attend this and benefit from the talks that we're going to have today? Do everything they've done to try and open up markets in East Africa. Why? Why did you, as an entrepreneur, start your business? And I'd like to borrow from the story of Christ I'm a Christian. I will say that now. And I'd like to borrow from the story of Christ in the wilderness when he went through his 40 days, 40 nights of temptation. And in that season, he was trying to find out who he is, what his identity is. And as entrepreneurs, when we start, we go through this as well. We go through a wilderness where we try to define what we want from our businesses. You want to figure out whether you started your business for occupational identity. I want to be known as the CEO of this and that company. Or you want popularity. You want to be able to walk into a golf club and everybody knows who you are. Or for whatever reason, popularity. If you're on social media, how many followers do you have? How many people like your posts? And then after that, So I've talked about occupational identity, popularity, and possessional identity. How many cars do I have? Where do I live? What is it that I can be able to buy with the money that I make? After we get out of this phase and you decide and define for yourself, I'm not about creating an identity, but I want to create a brand. We get into where we are here today. How do we build a strong brand for ourselves so that I am known as Joyce Modoni, the motivational speaker, the trainer in personal branding, image, and etiquette? For you, whatever it is, you want people to be able to say, I am so-and-so of this and that organization, or this is what I do. But there's another level. After you move out from creating and building a strong brand, you move into building an institution where you are able to take the back seat and let the systems, structures, and processes that you've set in place run for you. And you are able to move out of being a businesswoman, which is where we are today, to becoming a moneymaker. And with that, I want to introduce Dorothy Tuma, chairperson of East Africa Women in Business, to come and give the welcoming remarks.
My name is Dorothy Tuma, and I'm the chairperson of the East African Women in Business platform. And it's such a pleasure to have you all ladies here. We have women from, are there any Kenyans in the room by any chance? I don't hear you, there must not be any. Okay, a few. Tanzania, are we in the house yet? Mupo wapi? Mupo. Okay. Uganda. Are there any Uganda? Such so ladylike. Oh, we're over here. Are you there? Great. Okay. Rwanda, Burundi. Rwanda. Yay. Okay. Burundi. Not yet, on their way. But anyway, it's a pleasure to have you all here. I want to recognize the chairman of the East African Business Council. Welcome. And your board. Welcome. Members of the East African Business Council. I'd like to recognize Margaret Chigozi from Uganda, a very powerful mover and shaker and supporter of women in business and investment in the region. Welcome, Margaret. And ladies and gentlemen, members of women business associations, individual members of East African Women in Business platform, our friends, the media, and Alan, you're last but you're not least, Trademark East Africa, our buddies. Okay. It's a pleasure to have you all here. I will not belabor with speeches and whatnot, but it's really just to say welcome. And the East African Women in Business platform is here to really help improve women's participation, increase women's participation in trade in the East African community. So we're all about inclusion, inclusion, inclusion. What is it that we can do as a platform to make sure that more women are participating in the East African community integration process, but also in trading? And that's our sole reason for existing. So as the day unfolds, you're going to hear more about what we do as a platform, and also some of the ladies already here. I think we have over 150 people in the exhibiting, coming from all across the region. Women who took a bus ride for 2 days from Burundi to get here by bus to be part of this. Ladies from Uganda, from Tanzania, all traveled by bus just to be here. So, and all this is about increasing their participation in trade, making sure that we, the East Africans, know what the women in business, what the women in trade are doing, and providing them with a market for their goods and services. So I will not belabor, only to say thank you very, very much for coming. Thank you for putting aside whatever you had to put aside to be here with us. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's have a great day here today together, and let's promote women's participation in intra-regional trade.
Good morning. My name is Nana Gishaga, and I'm the CEO of KICC, and mine is just to welcome you here. The chairperson, East Africa Women in Business Platform, Dorothy Tuma. The regional coordinator, East Africa Women in Business Platform, Nancy Gitonga. The executive director, East Africa Business Council, Lillian Owinja. Ladies and gentlemen, I take this opportunity to welcome you to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, Kenya, Africa's premier meeting venue. We take pride in being the preferred venue and to partner with the East Africa Business Council as they commemorate their 20th anniversary. I wish to commend the Council for their well thought out activities outlined to commemorate this milestone. It is worth noting that the outlined activities are incentives that will drive and shape the economic growth of the East Africa region. As we are all aware, manufacturing and food security are among the big four agendas that the government of Kenya is keen about. It is my belief, therefore, that this two-day conference and exhibition will realize approaches of achieving a market-driven integration where East Africa countries will consume what is grown, produced and manufactured within the region. As a corporation, we shall remain committed to offer all our clients value-added conference packages for all types of events, ranging from conferences to exhibitions, product launches, events, AGMs, concerts, to mention but a few. Ladies and gentlemen, mine is to wish you all a pleasant stay at the center and fruitful success during your two-day conference. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the technology, I think, is really improving, and the technical team at the back told me, Madam, you don't have to hold anything. We are going to mic you. My name is Nancy Gitonga. I am actually your coordinator, the regional coordinator for East African Women in Business Platform. I am this morning a very humbled woman. Thank you. All the women who sat in buses day and night to be here with us today to showcase your creativity and your innovation. And this is a proof that actually the East African women in business are ready and are actually already integrated. Let us give them a clap. All protocols observed, I welcome you all to be part of us, and thank you. You are part of us already as we celebrate this day. allow me to begin by giving a small brief of East African Women in Business platform, which was inaugurated in 2011 by the EAC Secretariat in line with the Article 121 and 122 of the EAC Treaty. And this platform for you women is hosted by East Africa Business Council. Today we are honored to have the East Africa Business Council, the board of directors led by their chairman, Jim. Thank you very much for being here with us. Please let us give him a clap and his team. East Africa Women in Business platform is an institution that is based in Arusha, Tanzania, and like you all know, the East Africa Community headquarters is in Arusha. So everything that is done and is aligned to the community, you have no choice but you must sit in Arusha, because that is where all the organs are found. And so your women platform is also based in Arusha. I know some of you are about to start asking me, you left your husband and children and you went to Arusha. I am serving the East African women, and I'm proud of it. We are an institution that brings together, or a platform that brings together all women associations in all East African countries. All cross-border traders, most of the women you find doing business across the region, they are actually cross-border traders. And 81% of them, actually, they are informal. But I will tell you and I'll show you how we are working on that to make it better for them. We also work with all the professional women. I can see very many of them seated here with us. And this is because professional services are needed by women if they have to increase their participation in doing business in the region. You need a lawyer, you need an auditor, you need a marketer, you need the IT. And those are the professional women, most of them seated here also with us. And we recognize you. And we also work with you so that you can be able to give women the support that they need to increase their participation in the region. We work with all other institutions whose intentions, whose spirit is aligned to increasing women participation. And I want to thank banks like Gulf Bank, SME companies like Benchmark, who told me, Nancy, we will support you to buy a cup of tea for the woman who is coming for the conference. Please let us appreciate them. What is the vision of this platform that belongs to the women? It is to be a women's center of excellence for intra and extra EAC trade. And the mission is to position and catalyze the participation of women in EAC integration process. What is the role of your platform? What do we do? We have three things, and our three mandates are increasing effective participation of the women so that they are able to increase their participation. The effectiveness that you get as women, that must enable you to increase your participation in trade. And for example, that is why we are saying we will create a space that you come actually to showcase your products here today. And with that, you are able to increase your participation. Number two, improved economic contributions. Everything we do with the woman, we want our life improved, our livelihood improved. Because when a woman is improved, even the governments are improved because she's able to pay her taxes. Can you give the woman a clap? So everybody benefits. Increased progress. And this progress is, like I said, women, especially those in the informal sectors, We are building their capacity so that now they migrate from being informal to becoming formal. That is one of the other mandates. What have we achieved? We are on record in connecting and linking women SMEs to bigger businesses and institutions. And tonight, we are actually going to witness this again when that women SMEs will be linking up to 10 local companies with footprint in East Africa community. So that is what we know, and that is what we do very well. Developing women's business skills to increase their participation. We train a lot. We move all over in East Africa. Because we must give the woman that extra skill she requires. And that's why we work very closely with the professional women. Because we cannot really do it on our own. Increased trade-related capacity building. This is important because women must understand, especially if you are doing the cross-border trading, the customs union regulations, the common markets. So we train women, and we have developed, together with East Africa community and GIZ support, what we are calling a simplified guide for the SME woman and the cross-border woman. And we have East Africa Community Secretariat represented here, and Jean Rose will be talking about it. But it's a 5 small little tiny booklets that actually you read and you understand. We have a real case here because we have very many women who are already showcasing their products. We do a lot of research, baseline surveys, because we must have data that informs the governments, that informs the donors. People who are willing to work with us, the first thing they ask us is, so how many women you are talking about? So that is the other thing we do. And then also the last one is policy. We must understand what is the women are going through, and we pick it up and we channel it to EABC, and EABC are able to lobby the governments. And so the whole system, the whole process is actually well structured, how we work to support the women. Why this intra-regional conference? One, we needed to provide a platform for dialogue where we are going to have the interactions between the policymakers, the donors, the governments, and the women, the entire private sector who are represented here today, and the women. And we can dialogue and come up with solutions of problems that are affecting the women to promote awareness about East Africa community. One of the first things after the Kenya anthem was the East Africa community anthem. I realize most of us do not know even what it means. And I promise that I'm going to teach the women all the verses of the East African anthem, because that is one of the things that we must know. So we must create awareness about our own EAC. We must know what it is. It is our community. Unless we own it up, how can we own the opportunities in it? How can we say we are going to bid for businesses if we do not own the community? So the other role that we as an institution do is to empower women to have the ownership of the community. We are here also to showcase, like I said, our innovations, our products, because we are market ready. We are going to do a lot of linkages. We are here to sell. We are here to make money. And we are here to travel to Nairobi and to feel good as well. And why not? We are women. The last thing, the reason why we are having this is because we needed to have a public-private dialogue so that we can have serious issues that we have really brought out from the women themselves, captured and put in a paper, and we are able to present them to the policymakers so that we are able to say, When women sat in KICC on the 22nd of March, this is what they agreed. And for your information, friends, that is what the government works with. It's not an individual's decision or suggestion. Lastly, partnerships. Allow me to sincerely thank Trademark East Africa. They believed in us as women, and they have really been very, very, very supportive. And thank you, Trademark. Let's give them a clap, please. The Netherlands people, they saw it fit, and through Trademark, they came through for us. East Africa Community Secretariat, thank you so much. We work with you very closely. We work with you very, very closely because we are the women wing, and because, of course, there's the gender department. We work very closely with them. Thank you, EABC. EABC is like our mother because we sit in their building in Arusha, and they are helping us to really get institutionalized. We also want to thank them sincerely. And as I finish, nitasema hivi. Akina mama, safari sasa ndio imeanza. Next year we are going to another country in a bigger way. Hii tulikuwa tunafanya sampling kidogo. Just sample, Trianella. Lakini, the journey for the women has just begun. We are going to move in big masses from one country to another. Not for a day, not for 2 days. A full week. Trending. Sourcing for partners. And we will do it in a very systemized way. Asante sana Nehe.
We have a team of overqualified, overexperienced panelists. Allow me to invite them to the stage. Our first panelist is Dr. Alice J.O. Iyala. She's the Director, Social Affairs, Ministry of East Africa Community Affairs, and the Northern Corridor Development in the Republic of Kenya. Daktari, please join us on stage. Our second panelist is Honorable Senator Johnson Sakaja. He's the Nairobi County Senator. I'm made to understand he was chairing a committee in the Senate, but he is determined to join us. So Joyce, probably look out for him. Our third panelist is Mr. Abdallah Abdul Khalik. He's the Managing Director of Gulf African Bank. Welcome, sir. Our fourth panelist is Mr. Kiprono Kitonyi. He's the National Chairman of Kenya National Chamber of Commerce and Industry. Our fifth panelist is Mrs. Ann Kirima Muchoki. She's the chairperson of the Kenya Investment Authority, Ken Invest. Madam Chair Lady, are you here? Our sixth panelist is none other than the EABC chairman, Mr. Jim Kabeho. He also serves as a director at Madvani Group in Uganda. Karibu sana, Chairman. Now, in recognizing that women have been facing very unique challenges, it's important to have this discussion this morning in order to define what challenges women in business face. These include discrimination, stereotyping, gender gaps, gender-based violence, harmful culture. Welcome on stage, Chairman, Mr. Kiprono Kitonyi. Please, a warm round of applause. I'll continue with a list of challenges that women in business face. We also have female genital mutilation. We have gender selection, with a preference for boys in some sectors and some positions, and also mortality differentials. Solutions to these problems must go beyond traditional assistance. They require collecting more data. For example, informal employment, where most women are concentrated. As women in business, we believe that an additional emphasis needs to be laid on policies, on legislation, on affirmative action, on protocols, and in rules and regulations. Thank you so much, our very dear panelists. We believe that your voice will be a critical addition towards facilitating an increase of women in business, in international trade, intra-Africa trade, and very specifically in trade within the East Africa community countries. I'd like to start with Mr. Jim Kabeho, who we will invite to the stage to discuss and probably mention and educate us on what specific interventions the EABC is putting in place to gear the increase of women in participation of international trade. Thank you, sir. Karibu.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. And first of all, let me welcome you all to this meeting as the host organizers of this conference, EABC, and especially the women in business. And I'm happy to see you despite the different commitments going on in the region. I know other people are still in Kigali for the summit, but we'll do what we can and pass the information accordingly. I also recognize the leaders, our chairman, Women in Business East Africa, the Secretariat, the different leaders of women groups, and all participants that are here with us, and later on the chief guest from the Ministry of Trade and Cooperatives, Kenya. This morning and the whole of the day, we are putting it into the promotion of women in business in our region. And I think it's very important to know how do we increase this participation. And what are we doing as EABC in particular, where I chair, to have this. So first and foremost is we recognize that women are in business. This is very good. We recognize that women are now in business. Two, that it's not enough. They are not enough. Their participation in business is not enough. So one of our main key areas we are looking at today is how do we increase this participation. And I think the way forward will come out from the discussions and engagements we are going to have in this meeting. So if I start and say what has EABC done, EABC has recognized this is a problem. World over, you know, the women are the majority. They constitute the majority of the population, but we realize, especially in our region, that they do not participate in all spheres, not only business. And you cannot join other spheres unless you have capacity. And here capacity, which drives the world now, is money. And money is from trade and business. So as EABC, we realize that if we promote this and have the women capacitated in terms of having money and taking decisions and creating more avenues, then it will be, they will access other areas like the social, the political, and otherwise. So we've put up together with Women in Business a platform. That's what we've done as EABC, and this platform is driving mainly this conference. And we are also organizing with the ladies in business meetings, conferences, exhibitions that help to create the awareness. We also recognize that we need to help them put pressure to policymakers. So we start up policies that can help to generate women move forward. You see, it's not how it started from the past is that men have been ahead, men have been leading in this. So to bring up this gender balancing, we need policies of government, policies of institutions that create this to address the problem. In actually EABC, we know without women in business, there will be no EABC in future. So we look at it as a market. The ladies joining into business will help us to even tap into the talents. There are ladies out there who have talents to become successful business ladies, but because they are not helped, because they have no opportunity, that talent dies in there. They remain in the kitchen, they remain in the garden, and they'll never have the talent to expand the business. Another benefit out of this is what we are doing is to educate, encourage policies that educate and give skills to women. Because if you are going to do international trade, for example, there is no way you can now do it in the past. There is a lot of documentation to be done. There is a lot of connection to be done. So education and skills is a must. And we think this is should be very, very highly scored to help the business. Then the cultural setups of our countries. These still play a big role. I know there has been some advances and the educated people now treat their girls and boys equally. But down there we still have a problem. I give you an example where I come from. If you have a daughter and a son goes to look after cows, the daughter stays in the kitchen. When the man dies, the boy takes over all the cows and all the land. If the lady is not married, she will live on the handouts of the boy. If she gets married, it doesn't matter where she goes. So some of these cultures need to be addressed. We need to put laws in place. We need to put conditions in place that promote that. I salute those men. I happen to have only ladies. My daughters are 3. So I salute those men who recognize that it's important that we promote and even hand over to the ladies to carry out to the world. So we want, for example, at the end of this meeting, we want to see what we can do to promote women platforms in different areas of our country. We want to showcase, good enough we have an exhibition which is showing what are women doing. We want those who have come from outside to see what women are doing and then maybe copy that and go back and add on. We want an interaction between the women themselves, the policymakers, the EAC, the donors, the partners. This interaction will be very important and we want it to continue until we have more women on board. And it helps us as